tell you this works like a fucking charm. You wanna make sure that they have the money liquid and it's not tied up in some fucking real estate, or they're waiting for their paycheck to get paid to send you guys the money. Do you have 10K right now in your bank account? Hell no, do not say that shit. The deeper you go in a conversation, the more memorable you become. Boom, you're perfect, there you go. Yo, what's going on? So in this video, I'm gonna be going over the exact 4 things that every single one of your setters needs to be doing every single call. If not, I can guarantee you, you guys are losing on so much fucking money. It's not even funny. I know that rhymes, but let's get into it. Before we get into it, if you don't know who I am, my name is Aaron Thomas. I'm a sales manager. I scale offers by dialing in the setting processes. I took one offer from $170,000 to Angel $51,000 in literally a matter of 4 months. And I tripled the show rate in literally just 2 months by taking it from 61% to 90%. All by just dialing in the setting process, which allowed the closers to close more, and it ended up raising the close rate by 20%. So if you need help scaling your offer or dialing your setting process, just send me a message on Instagram at @TheRealAaronThomas, and I'll see if I can help out. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that every single setter needs to have on the call is obviously they need to understand what the lead's budget is, all right? And shout out to my boy Jalen Hoxie. He's the one who actually came up with this. So shout out to him. I want to give props where it's due. So budget. Now you're probably like, Aaron, I already know this. It's the budget. Yeah, of course you do, right? But the thing is you're not doing it the right way. And I have a whole nother separate video on how to actually get the budget, right? How to actually financially qualify properly. So the way you financially qualify properly is you always want to double down on how much the lead has at the moment, okay? So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, one of your setters is financially qualified them. They say they have 6K. What you want your setters to do is double down. You want to make sure that they have the money liquid, okay? And it's not tied up in some fucking real estate, or they're waiting for their paycheck to get paid to send you guys the money, okay? That used to happen to me a lot when I was a setter, is I used to have a lot of people telling me, yeah, they had 6K. A huge thing that goes on with a lot of setters and a lot of offers is a lead will say they have, let's say a lead says they have 10K, okay? They say they have 10K to invest, and then they hop on the call, and guess what they tell your closers? Oh yeah, I don't have it at the moment. It's like, okay, your closer just spent 45 minutes to an hour on the call just for them to say, yeah, I don't have the money at the moment. They have to wait for the paycheck when it clears in 2 weeks. They're waiting for a deal to close, right? It's tied up in real estate, and then so much time goes by, they're like not even interested anymore, okay? Now, the way I go about it and the way I have my setters go about it is they simply just tie down by asking, gotcha. And when you say you have 10K, is that something that we have at the moment? Or is that something that you need time to save up? Or is that something you need time to get? And by the way, I'm not asking for this now. I'm just trying to make sure so I can point you in the best direction. You always want to have your setters frame you back in their best interest, because when you do that, they feel as though, oh wow, this person actually cares about me and he's not just here to take my money. Versus if you were saying, yeah, and do you have 10K right now in your bank account? Hell no, do not say that shit. I can guarantee you, they're gonna get sales resistance and they're not gonna wanna proceed with the process. I can guarantee you this step here alone is gonna help your close rate. I can guarantee you it will, because it helps me on all my other offers, and it's gonna help you. If you do find it a problem to where, you know, doubling down, it's going well, but you still have some people lying and stuff like that, all you have to simply do is just call it out, have your setters call it out on the actual call. Now, number 2 is authority. What do I mean by authority? Well, what I mean by that is making sure that they have a business partner or a spouse involved. Well, I typically have my setters double it down 2 or 3 times. I'll break it down, right? So let's say, for example, my setters get in the setting call and they say, hey, okay, cool. And besides you, do you have any business partners or spouse involved? Do not say making this decision. Do not say in you know, making a decision on the call, because that's gonna be very salesy. And if they do say yes, and they do have someone involved, I can guarantee you more often than not, they're either gonna have some time between when they hop off the call, between the sales call, to think about it and be like, oh yeah, they want to make a decision. It's just too much pressure on people. Humans do not like pressure, do not like change, which is why you have closers in the first place. So what you want them to do is say, hey, do you have any business partner, spouse involved? And they say no. Now, if they say no, you want your setters to say, okay, and are you sure? On one of my offers, it's a trading offer. What we usually say is, okay, and are you sure? The reason why I'm asking is because, again, I'm framing it back in their best interest. Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is because sometimes people have joint accounts with their partners, right? What I'm basically doing is I'm trying to fish out to see, do they actually have someone involved in, you know, making a financial decision? But I'm saying it in an indirect way, okay? That way it's kind of sneaky. They don't feel like they are being pressured. They say, oh yeah, I do have someone. I have my wife. Or yeah, we do have joint accounts. Yeah, she would need to be on the call. Boom, you're perfect. There you go. Since she needs to be on the call, Why don't we do this? Why don't we schedule a time that works best for the both of you guys, since you guys do share accounts? What time works best? Or what time would she be available as well? Or what time will your business partner be available as well? Works like a charm. Now, if they push back, right, and they say that they need to run it by their partner or their spouse, then what you typically want to have your setters say to that is, yeah, and is this more of like a permission type of thing where like you need permission from your partner, or is this more so of like, hey, you're gonna let them know? The reason why I'm asking is because sometimes people need their spouse's permission in order to use the money to trade. Now, if you're not on a trading offer, then you would pretty much just have to contextualize it to your offer. All right, number 3, need. Need, number 3, is the most important one out of this whole thing. The reason why I say that is because if there's no need for them to hop on the call. There's no need for them to want to buy from your program, okay, from you. Right? So the reason why, this is why I go so freaking heavily on discovery and diving deeper than just asking the lead 3 fucking questions on your setting calls, is because, again, that's how you build urgency. The deeper you go in a conversation, the more memorable you become. Okay? That's why I have all my setters, they're high level setters, and that's why when they are done with setting, they're great closers, because they're already good at asking deep questions, like kind of like a closer would. Okay, they're kind of like trial closers, but they don't go too deep to the point where they're doing the closer's work. They go deep just enough to build that urgency, build that emotion on the call, on the setting call, to make them actually look forward to the sales call. And the way you actually build urgency, and I said this in my other video, but you need to have a logistical outcome and you need to have an emotional outcome, okay? You need to know what their goals are, why that's their goal, and how would they like to feel, what's that gonna make them feel when they do actually reach it. And you also need to do it for the reverse, right? What are they running away from? How does that make them feel currently, okay? There's always some emotion tied to every single situation. We're human at the end of the day. We're emotional beings. This is the most important one out of this whole fucking training. And if you need help with training your setters on with the need or with the urgency, again, I'm your guy. Just go ahead and shoot me a DM on Instagram. I have a whole training course that I have every single one of my setters go through during onboarding before they even dial on the offer and before they even DM set. Now, number 4 is the time. So what I mean by this is you just want to make sure that they have the time available to actually go through your program, okay, or your course or whatever, or your mentorship. More often than not, if they say that they don't have the time, what you want to have your setters do is dive deeper, right, and get into the specifics of, you know, what hour of the day they're going to be free, and, you know, what days they're going to be free. Because I can tell you more often than not, if you tell someone, if your setters are telling people, yeah, you need 3 to 4 hours a day, right? Just thinking about that at the top of the head, like, I'm not even really looking at my schedule, but I'm like, damn, that's a lot of time. I don't have that amount of time. Boom. And then a lot of setters, what they do is say, okay, cool, you're not qualified, they hang up. Or they send them a free resource. No. Let them know what hours of the day are they working, what hours are they sleeping, what hours are they hanging out with their family. Get down to the freaking nitty gritty, okay? Your setters need to find out every single detail, what hours that they're sleeping, they're hanging out with their family, the hours that they're working. Because if they do not do that, I can guarantee you off the top of the lead's head, they're gonna think they don't have time to do the program and also to hop on the sales call. Okay, you need to be specific with every fucking detail, especially if you're framing back in their best interest. I can tell you this works like a fucking charm. So let's say, for example, your setter is trying to find a slot that works for the lead to hop on a sales call. They say, hey, when is the time that you are able to set aside an hour to hop on the call? And then the lead says, oh, well, you know, I can't within the next couple of days. Now, here's what your setter should do, okay? Besides just hanging up or trying to find a time for next week or calling them back. Gotcha. And what times do you work? Oh, the lead says 8 to 4. Gotcha. What are you doing from 4 to 9 p.m.? And the lead says, oh, well, yeah, I get home, I eat for a little bit, and then I watch TV, and then I get ready to pick up the kids, and then I cook dinner. Do you think it's in your best interest, or do you think you can set aside 1 hour instead of watching TV to actually hop on this call with our head of enrollment to see how they can build out the roadmap on how you actually can make 20K a month to retire your wife? Whenever you relate it back to their goals, of course they're gonna say yes to that. Who can say no to that? Yeah, I can do that, right? Whenever you put it like that, I promise you it will work, because I do it for my setters and it works like a charm. The reason why is because I'm being specific with every detail and I'm framing it back in the best interest. Try this, have your setters do this on every single call. I can guarantee you this will work. This will not only just help you get more qualified sets, but it's also gonna remove the bullshit on your closers' calendars. So that way they don't get fatigued and think that it's them not being able to close the deal, when in reality it's really just your setters or maybe it's a lead quality issue, but you never know until you do this, right? So if you guys need help dialing your setting process or your sales process, just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll see how I can help out. Peace.